Welcome to Deep Thought, the greatest power. You know what? One thing in different spiritual traditions, they have a concept of, either special abilities, special gifts. In Christianity, different sects have the notion of, gifts of the Holy Spirit. And, it can range from charisma, discernment, prophecy, things like that, speaking in tongues. In shamanism, your shamans have the ability to go into the spirit world. In African traditional religion, adherents, priests have the ability to possess ancestors and also deities and stuff like that. And there's a lot of fantastic stuff out there. When you really think about the human capacity to go beyond the mundane, it's really incredible. A lot of people don't know there's really some stuff out there that makes, the Justice League, X-Men, Avengers, even something like Doctor Strange seem very extremely mundane. I mean, I could probably do a whole video, a series of videos on stuff that I've witnessed personally. There's a lot of fantastic stuff out there, but that's not the subject of this video. Because, when you look at gifts of the spirit or abilities or anything else, sometimes just the ability to get along with another person is a great gift, or the ability to read a person, or the ability to empathize, that's my word today, with a person. That's a gift. I mean, it's different things. The ability to see patterns and stuff, or the ability to know how to make money. That can be a gift. I mean, it's myriad things. The human being is capable of so many things. But with all of that, I don't consider those the greatest power. The greatest power, in my opinion, is the ability to make the right choice at the crossroads. Now, remember the podcast I did on how a single choice can create a future, or a single instant. It can create a whole new reality. A good or bad relationship could create a reality. That's power right there. That's power. But 99% of the people out here, when they make a decision, they don't have any idea about the repercussions of it, or whether or not they're making the right decision when they come to a crossroad event. Indeed, sometimes they don't even know if they're at a crossroads. I would say the greatest ability, the greatest power, is to make the right decision at the right time. Now think about it. What if, I've used the example of relationships, and that's usually where people are going to experience their most spiritual growth, right? What if, as soon as you meet that person, you have an idea, or you follow your intuition, whatever, and decide not to deal with that person, even though they might look good on paper, even though you might have friends and family say, oh yeah, check them out, but you go with that decision. But then if you had the ability to track what might happen with that decision, you find out that, hey, you know what? That was the right decision I made. You find out like 6 months down the road that mate would have caused you great harm, or was a murderer, or they had some destructive tendencies. Or what if you going for a job, you need a job badly, right? You go for one job, it's paying $15 an hour. Right. And, that's a very good wage. I mean, people fighting to get that wage because it's a livable wage. And considering at some point in life I've lived on a lot less than that, that's a great wage. Right. And it would seem logical to take the 15 an hour job. But there's also a job that's only paying like $10 an hour. It don't seem as much. And now most people would say, hey, take the 15. But what if you could make that choice? You knew how to make the right decision. You take the $10 an hour job. And, of course, people are going to say, oh, no, that's crazy. You shouldn't have did that. But because you had that gift, the ability to make the right choice at the crossroads, the job that you took for $10 ends up becoming a lifelong career where you're able to make a difference, where you're able to make shifts in reality because you're in a position to do so, where the impact of even starting out in that $10 job becomes something that, it affects millions, it affects the future. Whereas you take that $15 an hour job and then, something happens on it, you get on a fight with a coworker or there's a major accident or something, and you're just like, boom, you messed up for life. And because you weren't in a position to help other people, that messes up other people. I mean, it's a powerful thing. Think about it. Everything comes down to that single choice. And I was thinking, you think about all the stuff, like I talked about other spiritual gifts, but what good is it if you continuously make bad choices? I actually know personally several women especially, maybe a few men, but women especially who, they're intuitive. Some might use the term psychic. They'll say clairvoyant or something like that. But to me, I'm like, well, what good is that unless you make the right choices? Because despite all of that, a lot of them make choices that you're looking at and you're like, huh? Why would you do something like that? Where are you going? I mean, in fact, I've known several. I'm like looking at them. I'm like, how has your life improved? You got that gift and yet you keep doing dumbass shit. Or you have a gift could be knowledge. Usually when you get gifts of the spirit, for reasons I'd have to do another podcast, they usually show up more in women. Like women that have those gifts more, and that gets deeper on why they tend to have them more. But another thing. But men tend to focus more on knowledge and stuff. Or if men have gifts, it might be along the lines of charisma or something. But okay, let me use that example, charisma. In fact, in it was an old book detailing psychic gifts from the 1920s. It listed, it said personal magnetism. It listed it as a gift, like a gift of the spirit and stuff, as a psychic gift. And so that's something that men would tend to have. So, but what good is it? Okay, you draw all these people to you, you're real popular, but you keep doing dumb shit. What good is it? No, the greatest gift is somehow to develop the wisdom to make the right decision at the crossroads. Now, there's some people who can actually tell you, give you a good idea what to do, because you have some people who on a deep level have studied things like astrology or something like the Bagua, the Chinese Bagua, and other different forecasting systems where they can actually track. All they need is your birthday, and they can actually track what's likely to happen. And this is a combination through knowing where the energies lie, what's likely to happen with those two, if those energies are dominant or if they're not dominant, things of that nature. It's a little bit beyond my pay grade, but I'll just say I'm learning some things, right? What if, other than that though, other than being able to forecast, I mean, what if somebody just had that intuitively? Or as the case may be, they just learn from wisdom. Because if someone wanted to develop that gift, that's what is really called wisdom. And maybe I should say the greatest power is wisdom. Knowing how to apply that knowledge. Learning from your mistakes. And that's something I said in my book, Nice Guys and Players. I said, learn from your mistakes. I tell that to men who are interested in women. And it was just like, well, why do you keep doing the same thing with women and expecting a change? Learn from your mistakes. Because that's why that's why I think you get a lot of people, if they're going to succeed in life, to usually do so once they're older. And the reason why is they've learned from their mistakes. And so as soon as they come up against a situation, they're like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. Let me see down the line with this. Okay, this is something I wouldn't want to do. This is something I could do. Because I've had situations like that. And situations where somebody say, oh, yeah, check out this job. You can make all this money. But I was like, oh, yeah, it sounds easy, but something's turning me off about it. And I would go with that. And, with one job, if I had taken it, I might not be doing this now. I would probably be making a decent living, but might not be doing this now. So it's like, that's a powerful thing to have. Now, the average Joe, they probably ain't going to study like any forecasting type of systems or get into any esoteric thing, but wisdom, and anybody can develop it. That's the thing. Anybody can develop wisdom. Anybody can learn from mistakes. Now, if you mess with that woman and she had a wedding band on, but it was so good, but it caused you a lot of trouble, almost got you killed by her husband or something. Wisdom tells you something next time a woman comes up to you with that wedding band. Because see, one thing in this thing that we call life, if people really pay attention, things tend to happen over and over. In fact, I'll tell you what's deep. If something happens to you, like specific happens to you in November of one year, I can almost guarantee with, I say a 90% surety that something similar will happen the next November. And if people look back at their lives, they'll find there's a pattern on how things occur to them. There's a pattern to the type of situations they get in, the type of people they encounter, the type of problems they have. And you're just like, wow. But if a person learns, if they learn from the mistakes, pay attention to what happened, they can avoid that the next time. If they develop the ability to make the right choice at the crossroads. Because most people will make the wrong choice and get into a hole. But see, the beauty of a crossroads is that there always comes another crossroads to take a path back up. Now, you might not go all the way back up, but then, it'll put you back on the path. Now, I've been there. I've been to some low points, for bad decisions. But I learned from them, So that's if you want to talk about gifts, all of that stuff. Yeah, you know what? It looks cool. It sounds cool. Like a lot of those women I know talk about how intuitive they are, and some call themselves oracles. But I'm just like, okay, what good is it when you keep making bad choices? Because if you even have those gifts. And this is specifically talking about those people who, they say they hearing from spirits and all of that stuff. Or, they got this oracle thing and they try to act like they goddesses. Or some people act like they so high and mighty. I'm just like, okay. So all of that stuff, but you keep making that same mistake over and over. Because the only thing that's supposed to do, anytime you get any knowledge from whatever source, whether you get it in a book or you get it through sitting in meditation, the whole point of it is so that you can make the right choice at a crossroads. That's the whole thing. Because of that reality that a single choice can affect millions and create whole new realities. Because of that, people are maybe born with the tools to make the right choice, but a lot of times they don't make it anyway. But if someone can develop the gift either through knowledge, either through innate skill, whatever, to consistently make right choices, the world is an oyster for them. So anyway, that's it for today. Keep rising and transforming. Peace and blessings.